And so we are grateful. As a former participant, as I said, I'm grateful to Floyd and Conor for opening these gates.
Conventional wisdom seems to be that if Floyd, say, went over to the UFC and fought in a cage, he would not stand a chance.
No, he wouldn't.
But there are some people who think that Conor stands a chance on Saturday. Are you one of those people?
Yes.
Why?
Well, he stands a chance because he doesn't have to box. If he boxes, no, he doesn't stand a chance.
Interesting. What do you mean? It's a boxing match.
Yeah, but you can also fight. You see,
you can only use these. So what's the difference? Explain it to us. Educate us.
Okay, well, look. If he boxes Mayweather, boxing, that suggests... May I show you?
Please. Let's do this. Should I stand up as well? No, you don't need me to stand up. Okay, great.
Boxing suggests
Here,
this.
You put this down and I'll hold it.
So boxing suggests slip pin punches, weaving, catching punches, catch, slip. That's boxing. Using your jab distance. That's boxing. Fighting is... I'm going to shake your hand.
Okay. Oh my.
That's fighting.
Dirty.
I didn't say dirty.
Okay.
Because fighting isn't dirty. And we know this through Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was a fighter. He'd come forward and he would swing. Now, that Conor can do. If he stands and gives any time to Mayweather, any time at all, a second, he's lost. He will never outsmart this guy. This guy is... Kasparov was the greatest chess player of all time.
That's right.
He is the Kasparov of boxing. McGregor is hard. Now, if you're a fighter, having had 52 fights, 24 of them World Championship fights, you begin to learn that really it's the hardest man who wins. Because talent and skill, that goes out the window after 8-9 rounds. So sometimes you can beat a man by persevering and pushing and pressuring that man. Can Conor do that? Yes, he can. He can't box him, but he can fight him. Again, that fight would look very ungamely. It would be a horrible fight to watch.
Yeah.
Because he would be rushing him, in effect. He would be running into him. He would be taking a lot of punishment in the interim, but he's hard. And, let me just qualify hard.
Okay.
If he's got cauliflower ears,
yeah,
and he's been hit in his normal everyday vocation with elbows and knees, I don't think he's going to have a problem dealing with guys hitting him with a glove. Also, and here is a point of interest.
Okay.
Why Mayweather would have brought it down to 8 ounce doesn't make sense.
Yeah, why? Why do you think that is?
Well, that only favors Conor.
But Mayweather has fought 46 of his 49 pro fights with 8 ounces.
What I'm saying, he could have had, it was actually agreed at 10 ounces.
Yes.
Bringing it down to 8 doesn't aid him, it aids Conor.
Right.
Okay, so over and above that, also what so many people who are boxing fans and aficionados are missing is the fact that this Conor McGregor is Irish.
Yes.
Now, I don't know whether you've heard about the Celtic Warriors.
Of course.
Well, in
Pascal
warfare...
Collins, Steve Collins, you know a thing or two about him, yes.
Indeed.
Of course.
Well, in warfare,
yes,
they have ghost-like spirits. They are able to do what other nations haven't been able to do. They are a hard people. We know that he is durable, he is tough. If Mayweather's going to beat him, he's going to have to beat him into submission. There's no tapping out here.
Right.
And that's going to be tough. It's tough to beat up a man. So I don't see this fight. I mean, McGregor talks about a knockout. I can't see that. But I can see a 12-round fight. I can see a fight going to the distance, and I can see a very ugly fight. And I can see the possibility of that Irish spirit winning out. The impossible. Otherwise, why have I traveled here over the Atlantic?
Sure.
I've come because, is there a possibility? In my mind, there is. Now, I may be crazy. A lot of people say that I am crazy. You don't become a world champion by being normal.
Right.
So I have to be slightly unhinged. Now, it's with that mindset I can see a way that he can do it.
Wow.
He'll be able to take punishment. If he brings him into a toe-to-toe contest, if he doesn't give him time, if he doesn't give Mayweather time to set, when you go and see a show like a magic show, like Dynamo, you don't know what you're going to see, but you know you're going to see magic, right?
Yeah.
And you won't know how it's done.
Sure.
Well, this is what I'm imagining that Conor can do. He has the prerequisite, the most important thing needed to win fights. Can you take a beating? Can you absorb punishment? Can you persevere? He's got a prerequisite. It's now whether he has the correct way of using his tools. If he allows Mayweather to do what he does, it is a farce.
Right. Wow, this is fascinating insight.
And for your viewers, in fact, I can actually tell you where you can witness a blueprint.
Please.
If you put into YouTube Eubank versus Collins, 2. Not the first fight. I had 2 fights with them.
Yeah.
The second one.
Okay.
That's how it's done. So he has a way, but if he hasn't trained that way, then he won't do it, because you only ever produce in a real fight what you've been doing in the gym.
That's the path to victory. That fight, replicate that fight, that game plan. For those that have not seen that fight,
it's called Chris Eubank against Steve Collins.
Could you tell us what the attack was? What was the attack that Steve Collins had in that fight against you?
Madness.
Madness. Pure madness.
He was maniacal. He was obsessed. He charged. And let me tell you, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
This is quite funny.
This is amazing.
If you watch, just before the referee says box.
Okay.
This was in Cork, 1995, Ireland. Before the referee says box, this is how Steve Collins looked to me. Box. He ran at me for 12 rounds. He never stopped. I could not contain him. I couldn't measure him. He gave me no chance to set, because I was the guy with the skill to slip and to be cool and slip, and never gave me a chance. Rushed me. He just kept on rushing me. And that is the blueprint that could beat him. It is so very unlikely that he would follow this blueprint, because he would have been training in the way he's been training. And you can't actually change your plan. It doesn't work that way. If you've been training in a particular way, you will follow what you've been doing. You have to be a nutcase. You have to be a madman. And I would say this also, that it would not be far-fetched to say this to you. I could be likened to the Mayweather in 1995.
Okay.
And you can liken Steve Collins to McGregor in 1995.
Wow.
There was no way this guy had a chance of beating me.
Yeah.
He just didn't have the talent, the ability, the skill, the punching power. But because of that ghost-like spirit, he was able to do the impossible. Ireland rejoiced.
Yes.
So you know what? You just convinced me that Conor McGregor is going to knock out Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the 9th round. That's what I believe is going to happen. No. Mayweather will effectively die in 63, as you say. Floyd will hit the pine in 9. I just got a gut feeling on this. What have I told you for perspective on this? Have I not been on this for about, how long have we talked about it? 6 months? 6 months. Way before the fight happened? What did I say from the start? And I have not wavered from my gut feeling. This fight is the wrong place and wrong time for Floyd at this stage and age of his career. Did I not say that from the start?
Yep.
It just feels wrong for me. And I said, Floyd, on Undisputed 6 months ago, this is too dangerous for you. You're not going to be ready for this guy at this stage and this age. Did I not say that? It's just a hunch. It's just a gut feeling. And my gut feelings have been pretty right on this show for the last 14 years.
Morning?
What's that?
You take your probiotic?
I take it
That's
every
what's wrong
morning.
with your gut.
Yep.
Rumbling, probably hungry.
So, obviously, you're way in the right on this one. I've got the hopeless underdog in this fight. Everybody who knows anything about boxing is saying, this is a joke. This is a farce. This is a clown show. Am I right?
Yep.
So, we even had Shane Mosley sit here and say Floyd will be laughing from the opening bell, right?
Yep.
He'll be taunting, laughing, toying with Conor McGregor. And I've admitted to you, and I'm going to say it one more time, that I could be picking just with my heart.
You are.
Over my head. Because over the years, I've tried to like Floyd. I've tried and tried to like him, and I just can't. And even you admitted it's kind of hard to like him outside the ring.
Yeah.
I just concluded he's just a bad guy. So maybe my heart's getting in the way of my head. I'll admit that. Even his fighting style, after a while, I'm just out on it because he is the greatest defensive fighter ever, and he fights the most boring fights ever. But this one can't be boring because you know and I know Floyd's backed into a corner this time. Yesterday, he guaranteed a knockout. Not a technical knockout, a KO, right? Mm-hmm. And so Floyd's put himself in the crosshairs here, man. He's got the weight of the boxing world on his shoulders. He has to knock this man out. And if he does, if Floyd can knock out Conor McGregor, which I think that's the most preposterous statement that's ever come out of Floyd's mouth, I will be the first to sit right, not here, we'll be back in studio, obviously in Los Angeles, but I'll sit in my chair on Monday and I will eat all that crow, but I'm not going to have to because I got a strong feeling that this is the wrong place, wrong time for Floyd. Let me explain why. He is 40 and a half years of age. Mm-hmm. He has not been in a real battle for 3 years. You have to go back to the second Maidana fight. I don't count Manny Pacquiao. He tore his rotator cuff 3 weeks before that bout sparring. He wanted a pain-killing injection. On fight night, Nevada said no, and it was a joke of a fight. Nobody liked that fight, and it went 12 rounds, and Pacquiao didn't even have a mark on his face when it was over. I thought he was more the aggressor in the fight, but let's just throw that one out.
Okay.
So you have to go back to Maidana to find a time that Floyd got tested, and Floyd admitted when he took the fight that he was completely retired. Why did he take it? Strictly for the money. Am I right? And he's going to have his biggest payday ever. Do you know how dangerous it is to have retired in your head and then suddenly say, I'm going to come back just for the money? Do you know how hard it is? You do know. Mm-hmm. To get back into training when you had vowed you're done with training? I don't think Floyd has trained as hard for this fight as he has for all those other 49 fights because he gave it up in his psyche. And all of his yes men around him, all the boxing experts are telling him it's a joke. So do you really think Floyd's going to be ultra prepared for this fight? Because
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I do not. And I'm starting to sense some bad luck and bad karma here because Floyd Mayweather has never, ever bet on himself before a fight. He's told his hangers-on it's bad luck. What did he say? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I'm going to bet, what did he say, $5 million? That was...
You say he's going to lay something heavy.
Okay. So
besides his hands upside Conor McGregor.
So he's so confident against this guy that he's going to risk the bad karma and bad luck of betting on himself for the first time in his career.
Bet it.
Okay. And who has been his good luck charm, his lucky charm, leading out his entourage in a lot of fights over the last 10 years or so?
Bieber.
Justin Bieber. And what happened? They fell completely apart. Bieber said, I'm out, I cut bait, I'm not Floyd's friend anymore because he didn't like the fact that Floyd kept posting such risque pictures of his girls on Instagram. Bieber's out. He will not lead him into the ring.
Bieber need to stop. But
okay, well, I'm saying this is bad luck. Bad luck, right?
What about this, Skip?
Get it. That to me has been the most fascinating part about this. Conor's team is so confident. Like, if you talk to them, they truly believe they're going to win. This is not Peter McNeely walking up and saying, I'm going to knock out Mike Tyson. We're all kind of laughing. They truly believe it. And then everyone else in the boxing community is laughing. And I feel like they all view them as delusional. You don't feel the same way, though.
Well, I think what Kavanaugh had said, I thought was the most fascinating thing, saying, I know they think they're going to have an easy night.
Yes.
Easy work. And we think we're going to knock him out. Someone is suffering from a delusion.
Yes.
So
a lot of people are saying, like, well, you can't go out there and actually just try to box Mayweather, because everyone's failed at that. He has to try something different. What do you think?
I think actually trying something different is the only little advantage that he has. I think if he can throw off the unorthodox movement of a straight boxer, I think that's the only thing that can give Mayweather problems is bouncing around like an MMA fighter, cutting angles, like doing his dancing tactics, whatever he needs to do, because boxing's a very still sport. There's not a lot of movement, not a lot of flashiness.
The fastest person in front of me, and I would make them fucking run around the ring the whole entire time and make sure that my conditioning and my footwork. You guys everybody thinks the conditioning in boxing has to do with your arms. What's the first thing to go is your legs. But when your legs go, what happens? They start to drop. Now, like I said, if Conor did his punching on his bag and he didn't do all of the rest of the conditioning with it, like I said, boxing is a completely different animal.
It's a little bit like thin line before to be a fan and support a fighter. And I support fighter. I support Conor McGregor. And the fan, it's like you don't want to see the reality. You just keep going your hero. Yeah, it's different story. But I'm really support Conor McGregor because I believe that he can do this victory. He can take it, and he can do things unbelievable for all world.
Distance control. With Lamashek, I've watched him. He's very good about distance control. He likes to go 1-2 and jump hard right to the angle. And then when his opponents cover up, that's when he's able to get those angles. So with him, you would have to do a lot more distance control with him because he likes to move his speed a lot. Then he also does some walking down when he walks you down and tries to play with you. So with him, it's always about distance control because the way he moves. So you always have to look at, and I've talked to Matt about this. I was like, Matt, if I was going to go into a boxing fight, what would I do different in training? He goes, well, you've been boxing your whole entire career. I mean, what the fuck you been doing? And I've had boxing fights before. So, like I said, you always look at the opponent. Like with Mayweather, he's more of a different cookie because you have to get. If I was to fight Mayweather, I would have to try to get him to overextend. I need to get him to overextend so I can land that shot where he's vulnerable to make him get wobbled, and also distance control with that.
I will say this, I've been around it, I train here at the PI as well, obviously. So I've seen I think he's approaching the fight the right way. I do. I think by trying to make fights happen inside, when he was up there sparring, he's not sparring. He's actually fighting. He's inviting people out to sit and watch. And, that's kind of, I've done some sparring over at Mayweather's gym too. And that's kind of the feel over there. Those are actual fights. And people don't understand, that's more experience. Sure. Those are experiences every time you do that. You learn a little bit more about yourself. You get that same butterfly, those same nerves. So I think he did actually approach the fight the right way. I think he did the right thing about not bringing out a boxing trainer because the boxing trainer is going to tell him everything that he does is wrong and it's going to kill him. He could have had somebody, I don't know. He's got a bunch of yes men around him. It seemed like he trying to, he kind of go into that Rocky 3 thing where, it's a circus every time he trained. He got the kids, he got the, he out there partying and shit. He could have probably dialed back.
It's hard to say no. It's hard to say yes because obviously this is a fight. At the end of the day, a fight's a fight. Anybody can, he could accidentally headbutt him and, they can call it a punch on accident and it could end.